This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we are back with Zach Downs. He actually works for Nanify. He's an owner of the business. And so in the previous segment, we were talking about how he started out in a trailer park, had a rough upbringing, worked for a marketing company, a little bit of real estate, and then you started your own solar company.
Yep.
And then you sold that solar company, and you figured, shoot, you know what, might never work again.
Well, I spent a couple of years like investing pretty heavily into like long-term real estate assets, and so I still, I own those, and those are great. But I realized, there's a lot more life left. And my business partner now, he and I knew each other. He had a multi-measure home service company at the time. They did roofing and windows and all sorts of stuff. And so we both knew each other from that space. He reached out to me and asked if I had heard of roof rejuvenation before. I had never heard of roof rejuvenation. And so we start having this conversation about what roof rejuvenation is, what's going on. It's fairly new. First couple manufacturers came out in like 2018, so relatively speaking, very new.
Yeah.
And we just went on this kind of deep dive. I was just curious about it, and I didn't know if it was snake oil or not, or what is it. And what we ended up finding was there was a couple of different manufacturers of different types of treatment that can be used on asphalt shingle roofs. And we started demoing and just doing your typical due diligence to determine if there was any opportunity here. And we found a manufacturer that we really liked. We liked their value proposition. We liked the warranties that they offered. And about a year ago, we decided, let's go. Let's start this up. And I always have really liked disruptive industries and business. And I think that this roof rejuvenation space, while it's in its infancy still, has the opportunity to be very disruptive.
I agree.
Yeah.
For those who are listening and aren't sure what roof rejuvenation is, there's basically two main categories of people who use your service. Let's start with the first category, people who, for example, how we got to know each other. We we have a client. You worked with them. What happened is she was looking to sell her house. She knew that she had some issues with the roof, but it wasn't actively leaking. And but most lenders, so if you're looking to buy a house or sell a house, most lenders want at least a 2-year roof cert. So to certify that the roof is good for at least 2 years. And she didn't think it was gonna work out. She had some contractors come out, some roofing contractors. They told her she needed a complete re-roof.
Yep.
It was going to cost her about $18,000.
What kind of roof was it?
Asphalt shingle.
Okay.
Yeah,
and what were the issues with the roof?
It was old. It was just really old. They were really
but
old.
There
Shingles
were no leaks.
Shingles. A couple shingles had fallen off.
Okay.
In windy weather. I didn't go up on the roof. Was there anything else with the roof?
There was some significant granule loss. So the granules, it looks like the sand that are on there. That's really like the UV protection. That's like the sunscreen for the roof to keep the shingles from getting dry and extra crispy. And so a lot of that had come off. And typically once you see some significant granule loss in different spots on the roof, most roofing contractors will then encourage a re-roof to take place.
Yeah. And so they encouraged a re-roof. It was going to cost about $18,000 to do all the work.
Yep.
And she's like, man, that's a lot of money. And I said, you know what? I just heard about this guy. How about you have him out and see if he's able to help you? And then that's where you came out, and I'll let you kind of take over. What did you do when you met with her?
Yeah, so, the first thing we did is we just talked to her about the potential for this treatment. We said, not every roof is a good candidate, but there are a lot of roofs that people believe their only option is a complete re-roof, that we can extend the life. And so we did an inspection and evaluated her roof, and while we did see there were some areas that had some granule loss, there was still a lot of life left in other areas of a roof. And so we treated the roof with the product that we use. It's a petrol-based nano-silica. And without getting too technical and into the weeds, it has silicone that's on a nanoparticle scale. And so it doesn't sit on top of the shingle like a coating or a sealant. It literally penetrates into the asphalt shingle and helps restore and bring back flexibility and UV protection and a bunch of other cool benefits from the inside out. And so that just helps extend the life of shingles that are either very close to the end of their life, or even in some parts of a roof, the shingles looked fairly good. And so, we'll treat all of those shingles, and it just extends the overall life of the roof by 8, 9, 10 plus years. So, and it's wildly less expensive, which is one of the things she was pretty excited about.
Yeah,
I've
so-
seen a news article or something about this.
So there's two versions of this product. From my understanding, there's the petrol based, and then the nano silica, and then there's just the petrol base, right?
Well, there's a petrol based. So ours is a petrol nanosilica, and then there's a more of like a soybean oil base.
But it just basically rehydrates the shingles.
It rehydrates and brings back the pliability. So the soybean oil brings back the pliability and flexibility, but that's about it.
Okay.
There's nothing really else in there that helps with UV protection, or like one of the other things that's really cool. In fact, Susan texted me about I don't know, a week or two after the treatment was completed. One of the benefits is it creates a hydrophobic barrier on the roof. And what that means is that when it rains on the roof after the treatment's done, the water no longer saturates into the shingle. It just beads right off. So it almost looks like the roof is fully covered in Rain-X.
Wow.
And so, it'll just bead right off the roof. And the benefits of that are, number one, it creates less oxidation or damage in the roof. And the other cool thing is that like moss growth, which a lot of people are, don't like the fact that moss is growing underneath the shingles. There's no longer any water to absorb for the moss to grow. And so that is eliminated. And so anyway, she texted me about a week and a half after and was like, our roof looks, I'm looking at all our neighbors' roofs, and, I'm looking at our roof, and the water's just beating off. So like I said, there's a lot of additional benefits to it. But
So you're saying something like that will extend the life of the roof by how long?
yeah, up to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys give a 5-year.
Yeah, so the minimum warranty we do is 5 years. In some conditions and some circumstances, we can go up to 10 years. But yeah, bare minimum is 5 years.
So she went from having like an $18,000 repair that she thought she was going to have to make in order to sell her home.
Yep.
Had Zach with Nanofy come out. They went out. It was like $2,300.
Yeah, it was under $3,000.
They not only did they fix her roof, but then they provided her not with a 2-year roof cert, but a 5-year roof cert. And so right there, she saved over $15,000.
Yep.
And that new buyer gets this roof that's going to last even longer.
Yeah, because the warranty is transferable.
This is
to the new
amazing
buyer.
technology. This is great because a lot of people are in these situations where, the economy is not fantastic right now. And so thinking about, oh my goodness, I might have to replace my entire roof. But you guys come along and you have an option, something alternative if they can do this that is a lot more affordable.
The cost of everything post-COVID has gone up, and the cost of roofing is no different. I mean, the cost of roofing, I always joke, has gone through the roof, pun intended. And it's people get quotes back that have numbers that they're just like, there's no way.
Right.
And with the cost of money now being where it is, even financing for that can be really tricky for a lot of folks too.
Yep.
And so you have the cost of this expensive service to be done, which is a re-roof, and the money that you would use to finance it is also more expensive. Mm-hmm. So those two things combined can really put some people in a precarious position. And so with this roof rejuvenation product, when you're talking about 80% less than the cost of a re-roof, that's kind of the typical number that we find ourselves at. It just really helps people do one of two things. Even if the roof is in a condition that they probably need to replace it, we can at least get them 5 more years, which is a runway that allows them to save up money. Yeah. Kind of figure out what I'm going to do, because sometimes people end up in a situation where they do have a leak. I would say 50% of the jobs that we do right now, we do some form of roof repair in addition to the treatment.
Oh, that's a good point, because you guys don't just come out here and spray that and that's it.
No. Yeah. So,
What do you do?
So when we evaluate the roof, like I said, 50% of the projects will either replace some ridge cap, or there'll be a section of the roof that we're going to encourage and tell the homeowner, we think that you really need to repair this area. And so we'll take care of all that first to really shore up any issues, and then we'll treat the roof. And by doing both of those things, that's what gives you the ability to extend the life. And so with people that, let's say, again, are in that boat, they find themselves with a leaky roof or a problem with the roof. Instead of a $18,000 cost, we can end up with a $3,000 cost, and that'll repair the roof and treat it and give them a 5-year runway to figure out what they're going to do. Or in her case, she was going to sell the house. And so the new buyer now has a 5-year warranty to figure out what they want to do.
So you guys provide that certification?
Correct. We provide the certification. Correct.
Yeah. But that's not just, so that's one type of client, right? One
Yes.
type of person that would call Nanofy to have them out and fix the roof, or at least, lock in rejuvenate the roof.
Yeah, protection.
Protect the roof. But there's a second type of client that you guys work with, and we're going to discuss that right after this.
It's the simplest, most easy way to sell your home. No showings, no open houses. Get at least 3 guaranteed cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.